After pleading guilty to 9 charges, a former Spokane developer will not go to jail. Tonight, why the court decided on a lighter sentence.
WSU rarely cancels school, especially the day before. We're live in Pullman to see why they made that call.
The Senate adjudges that the respondent, Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is not guilty as charged.
Today, the final vote on the impeachment trial will break down how lawmakers voted.
Well, it is not every day you see students sledding on the campus of Washington State University. Even more rare for the school to actually cancel classes altogether, but the university decided to do just that last night. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
It's good to have you here tonight. I'm Whitney Ward. It's a new protocol to ensure that people who have to commute to Pullman can plan ahead. KREM 2's Tim Pham is actually live on campus tonight, and it looks like students obviously very excited to have a snow day.
Oh, Whitney's so excited to have the day off. I mean, who wouldn't, right? It's a day off of classes. Students made giant snowballs like this one on campus. There's snowmen all over the place. And there's still a few people sledding down this hill. If you guys know Pullman or know WSU's campus, Thompson's Flats is where you want to be on a snow day. Students have a little more pep in their step on campus. You won't find anyone in classrooms at WSU, no books or homework here, just sleds, cafeteria trays, and yes, even a unicorn.
We originally built some sleds out of cardboard as engineers here, but that failed completely, so this is step 2.
A day of fun students found out about last night.
I felt like I was being punked because I got the text and it was like, is this for real? Because it was only like 6 p.m.
No one's being punked here. WSU is changing their protocol on when to announce a snow day. They used to decide the morning of, but in some cases, that's too late for people who commute.
We have students, faculty, and staff members who live in Spokane, who live even further away. They're frequently on the road by 6 a.m., and so they don't get the alert until they are actually on their way to campus.
Now, WSU officials will look at the forecast the day before so everyone can plan ahead.
My mom actually lives in Moscow, so she commutes every day to work.
While about 4,000 students live on campus, there's 16,000 who don't. Some might not understand why WSU decided to close, and they're okay with that. They hope this new approach will keep people safe.
We'll never make a decision that works for absolutely every member of our 20,000 person community here, but we have to make the best decision for the most number of people.
There's no question students think it was the right choice. Well, do you think that was a good call?
Yes, it's fantastic. Definitely. It's my birthday, so I'm like super happy about this. Yes!
So WSU technically has never closed in its history, but they have canceled classes in the past. I'm told this is actually because they're a research institution. There's always someone on campus, so there's always something going on. But they do tell me, again, it is very rare that they even cancel classes. Live in Pullman tonight, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
Well, take me back to college, right?
I know.
They never
so
cancel work here at KREM 2 because of snow.
No, they really
right?
don't.
Okay, well, speaking of the big story of the day weather-wise was the snow. We picked up a couple of inches since last night. And now we're bracing for some rain.
Yeah, of course, Chief Meteorologist Tom Sherry standing by in the Weather Center with everything we need to know. Tom?
Yeah, we've got more wet weather on the way, but I think it's going to be more rain than snow or snow that doesn't stick. We still, at least for another hour now, have a winter storm warning in effect. It is winding down, though. That area shaded in pink in areas of Shoshone County, eastern Kootenai County, and Benewah County. That's in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. And also an avalanche warning up in the northern Cascades in north central Washington. Again, that's in effect until 6 o'clock tonight as well. Snowfall results pretty impressive if you live out in Cheney or Ritzville. 5 inches of snow in Cheney. That was expected. The Ritzville snow, not so much. I was thinking more like 1 to 2 inches out there, and it picked up 5. Grand Coulee, 2.2 inches. So far at the airport, 2.7. I will tell you up here on the South Hill where I live, it was more about 3.2, 3.3 inches of snow. And of course down in Pullman, where WSU had the day off, 5 inches of snow falling. We've got Mostly rain now occurring down into the Palouse. As you can see, a few little light snow showers occurring across areas of the Spokane Valley and out towards northern Idaho, but with the temperatures still at 33, not much of that is sticking, at least on the roads that have been plowed. Day planner forecast calling for rain and snow overnight with a low of 33. Mostly rain tomorrow, very little in the way of accumulation as we look for a daytime high of 41 degrees. We're going to continue into the 40s again on Saturday. Mostly rain rather than snow with a high of 43. Saturday or Sunday looks dry. We'll look for an overnight low of 27 and a high of 40. I'll check your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes. Right now, we're all wondering, what do the roads look like for folks heading home? We've got our Thomas Patrick out in the storm tracker checking on the latest road conditions. Thomas?
Yeah, hey there, Tom. I'll tell you what, a lot of the major roadways, the arterials, the highways, faring just fine as of this hour. So instead, we're checking out a lot of the side streets, which may still be unplowed. So these are the streets along the South Hill. What you see out ahead of us is 37th Avenue. Now, this particular road doesn't look like it was plowed at all. The only thing is that the snow is compressed because of all the traffic and all the cars that have just driven on it, like ourselves. But as we turn on to 37th here, well, the road looks a whole lot better. In fact, it's just wet. It's not icy at all. Our temperatures are right around 35 degrees, which is above freezing, meaning that it's just melting away. There's no ice. There's no black ice. So things are improving and road conditions are improving as well. And we are not expecting any of these roads to refreeze overnight because those temperatures at the least will stay constant, if not actually increase into the 40s later on. So that is all very good news. The only thing is, yeah, a lot of those side streets that haven't been plowed, well, we probably won't see the pavement until they melt away fully after a couple days in the 40s later on. Reporting from the Mobile Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Back to you.
Thomas, thank you very much. Well, it's been several days since a large tree fell on this North Idaho home, and it's not clear when it will be removed. The reason? Weight limits on nearby roads preventing a heavy-duty crane from getting to that home to clean it up. KREM 2's Taylor Bido explains that unique situation.
This is what the tree damage looks like up close on this Hayden home. It's pretty scary to see, but from afar, it looks even more scary, and you can really see how serious this is. For now, there's no timeline on when this will be fixed.
When this homeowner tells people that she's living in a tree house, she's not necessarily wrong.
I mean, I was shocked.
This massive pine invited itself into her home on Saturday morning when winds were gusting.
Never have had a tree hit the house ever.
Homeowner Vicki Moffett is okay. Nobody was hurt. The tree pierced her roof above her kitchen. Inside damage was very minimal, fortunately, but this tree currently has her in quite the predicament.
So right now we're in the process of problem solving.
These simple signs on the road leading up to Moffett's place are the reason why. The local highway district has imposed weight limits on roads around her house, which is south of Hayden Lake. Load limits are typically designed to protect roads from damage during freeze-thaw cycles. Moffett says a tree company she's working with wanted to bring in a large crane to remove the tree, but the crane was too heavy and can't make it to her home due to the road restrictions. She adds that the tree company tried to bring the crane in on Sunday, the day after the windstorm.
And that's their biggest concern. They don't want to damage my house anymore. They don't want to ruin my driveway.
The crane company confirmed with me that they're still waiting to get the crane out there. I also reached out to the Lakes Highway District, which imposed the weight limits, but I'm still waiting to hear back from them. For now, the clock's ticking for Moffett.
Who knows? This root could shift, the log could shift, who knows?
She adds that a nearby road was resurfaced just last summer, so she understands the reason for weight limits. But Moffett hopes an exception could be made for this tree that's still exposing part of her home.
I understand that, but the situation too, this is kind of a safety issue. I don't feel real comfortable all the time being in my house in case something happened. We get a lot of snow, we get a lot of rain.
While Moffett waits to hear back, she says a tree company was also considering building some kind of brace below the tree to ease pressure on her home. In Kootenai County, Taylor Vido, KREM 2 News.
Man, quite the situation
What
there.
a mess.
We are tracking some breaking news right now. The two suspects involved in a downtown Seattle shooting were charged with murder. They were both charged with first-degree murder as well as 6 counts of first-degree assault. The two were arrested in Las Vegas over the weekend. They will both be extradited to Seattle within 30 days.
And also breaking right now, Hollywood legend Kirk Douglas died today at the age of 103. Kirk Douglas was considered a superstar before that term was even coined. He held over 92 acting credits. He was in some 75 films. His son, actor Michael Douglas, said of his father today, Kirk's life was well lived and he leaves a legacy in film that will endure for generations to come. What a loss. Well, today, a federal judge decided the well-known Spokane developer Ron Wells will not go to prison for committing insurance fraud. Instead, he'll spend a year under house arrest.
Wells pleaded guilty to 9 felony counts in April of last year. Federal court does not allow cameras in the courtroom, but our Amanda Rowley was there today, and she's here now to tell us what happened. Amanda?
Yeah, Mark and Whitney, Ron Wells told the judge this morning he is deeply remorseful, humiliated, and has no one else to blame but himself for his crimes. The judge told Wells he enjoyed a good life of being a successful criminal, and he is disgusted by his conduct.
The federal charges against Ron Wells and 22 other accused co-conspirators stem from their involvement in staged vehicle accidents to illegally collect and launder insurance money. Starting tomorrow, Wells will serve 1 year of home detention, pay nearly $180,000 in restitution, and a fine of $60,000. During this year, he will have to wear an electronic monitoring device on approved medical or job-related outings. The judge said he decided on this punishment because of Wells' cooperation with investigators, along with his age and medical issues. According to Wells' attorney, he had elective bariatric surgery before he was indicted. Then he went into a coma and had several more surgeries due to medical complications. Wells says he committed the fraud because the accused ringleader, William Mize, threatened to hurt him if he did not repay his $20,000 loan. The government believes Wells was threatened, but the prosecutor told the judge that does not explain why he chose to participate in the scheme after the loan was repaid.
Also told the judge he wants to spend what years he has left healing himself, the hurt he caused others, and to his reputation. As for the accused ringleader of the conspiracy, William Mize, he is still considered a fugitive. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you very much. The suspect in a downtown Spokane shooting we covered last night was arrested in North Idaho. 2 people were shot in an apartment near Sacred Heart Hospital yesterday. The suspect initially fled the scene and was later identified as Trey S. Galloway. Galloway will be extradited back to Spokane, where he'll be charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault. Well, there's been a disturbing development in the case of 2 missing Idaho kids. Authorities found an abandoned storage unit full of items belonging to the 2 children. The kids were reported missing in September. Lori Balloway first rented the unit in October. Surveillance video shows Lori and another man making about 10 trips to and from that unit over that month time period. But viewers are still asking why she hasn't been arrested. Idaho's former Attorney General Dave Leroy explains why.
To fail to obey a court order to produce the children is typically a contempt of court of a civil nature and not a crime in Idaho. However, there is a statute in Idaho that makes willful disobedience of a court order a potential misdemeanor.
The mom is believed to be still in Hawaii. Meanwhile, JJ's grandparents filed for temporary custody of him last week. In other news, the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump is officially over, and the Senate acquitted the president on both charges. It's been nearly 50 days since the House impeached the president. Whitney, we've been following this trial since the very beginning. How'd those votes break down today?
So he was acquitted on Article 1, which was abuse of power, and on Article 2, obstruction of Congress. Most of the senators voted along party lines, except for one, Utah Republican Mitt Romney, who voted guilty on abuse of power. Despite that, though, it was a historic vote. President Trump was officially acquitted today, ending the trial.
Were I to ignore the evidence that has been presented and disregard what I believe my oath and the Constitution demands of me for the sake of a partisan end, it would, I fear, expose my character to history's rebuke.
So the vote fell short of the 2/3 majority that's required in the Senate to remove the president from office. Meanwhile, Senator Chuck Schumer accused President Trump of being guilty on both articles of impeachment.
In fact, several Republican senators admitted They believe the president committed this offense with varying degrees of opprobrium, inappropriate, wrong, shameful.
House Democrats say investigations into the Trump administration will continue, though, regardless of the Senate trial outcome. President Trump was quick to respond on Twitter today. He announced that he'll be making a statement tomorrow to discuss our country's victory on the impeachment hoax. He also tweeted out a video with a doctored Time magazine cover, shows campaign signs, and ending with Trump forever. Back here at home, Washington Senators Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell both voted to impeach the president. In Idaho, Jim Risch and Mike Crapo voted to acquit the president. For more information on how the senators voted, we have more on our website. Just go to KREM.com.